The chemotherapy had left me weak, but not weak enough to miss what was happening in my own home. I'd been staying at the treatment center for 3 weeks, and when my son Derek brought me back for a weekend visit, everything had changed. "Mom, there's something we need to discuss," Derek said as we pulled into the driveway. His wife Amanda was waiting on the porch, arms crossed, wearing the expression she reserved for unpleasant conversations. "What's that, sweetheart?" "We've made some adjustments to the house. For everyone's comfort." I noticed immediately that my bedroom window had different curtains. Pink floral ones that matched Amanda's taste, not the blue ones I'd chosen. Amanda approached the car as Derek helped me out. "Margaret, we need to talk about practical arrangements." "Of course, dear. The thing is, with your treatment taking so long and the uncertainty about outcomes, we thought it made sense to reorganize the living situation." I leaned on Derek's arm, feeling genuinely dizzy from the medication, but also increasingly alert to what was happening. "We've moved my mother into your bedroom," Amanda continued. "She needed a place to stay, and frankly, you might not be coming back, so we're just being practical." The words hit me like a physical blow, but I managed to keep my expression neutral. "How thoughtful of you to plan ahead." Derek looked uncomfortable. "Mom, it's just temporary. Until we know more about your prognosis." "And where exactly am I supposed to sleep during my visits home?" Amanda brightened like she'd been waiting for this question. "We've set up the guest room for you. It's much smaller, but it'll be perfect for your needs." "My guest room? In my own house? For my needs?" "The guest room is lovely," I said. "Thank you for being so considerate." As we walked to the front door, I noticed Derek trying his key. It didn't work. "Oh right," Amanda said, pulling out a new key. "We changed the locks. For security reasons." "Security? Well, you've been giving out keys to home health nurses and treatment coordinators. We can't have strangers wandering in and out." I'd given one key to my visiting nurse, who came twice a week to check on things while I was away. But I said nothing. Inside, the transformation was complete. Amanda's mother Linda sat in my favorite chair watching my television, eating from my dishes. She looked up when we entered. "Oh, you're back," Linda said, sounding less than thrilled. "How's the cancer thing going?" "I'm responding well to treatment," I replied. "That's nice." She turned back to the TV. Derek showed me to the guest room, where my personal belongings had been hastily shoved into boxes. My photo albums, my jewelry box, my clothes, all packed away like I was already dead. "This is temporary, Mom," Derek whispered. "Just until you're better." "Of course, dear. I understand." But I was beginning to understand much more than Derek realized. That evening, while Amanda and Linda discussed their dinner plans using my groceries, I excused myself to make phone calls. From the guest room, I called my lawyer. "George, it's Margaret. I need to see you tomorrow morning." "Margaret, how are you feeling?" "I'm feeling like I need to review some legal documents. Can you meet me at the treatment center?" "Of course. What's happening?" "I'll explain tomorrow. And George, bring the property deeds and the trust fund paperwork." The next morning, George arrived with his briefcase and a concerned expression. "Tell me what's going on," he said, settling into the chair beside my hospital bed. I explained the locked doors, the bedroom takeover, the practical arrangements for my potential death. "They're treating you like you're already gone," George said, his voice tight with anger. "They think they're inheriting everything," I said. "But they've never actually seen the paperwork, have they?" George smiled grimly. "No, they haven't." He opened his briefcase and spread documents across my bed table. "Let's review what they don't know." The first document was the property deed. The house Derek thought he was living in, the house Amanda thought she was redecorating, was owned by my trust fund. Derek was listed as a potential beneficiary, but only if certain conditions were met. The conditions being? "Providing appropriate care and respect for you during any medical treatment," George read. "Maintaining your dignity and comfort in your own home. Honoring your wishes regarding living arrangements. And if those conditions aren't met, the property reverts to your charitable foundation. Derek gets nothing." The second set of documents was even more interesting. The trust fund that Derek and Amanda thought they were inheriting, the one worth nearly $2 million, had similar conditions. "They think it's guaranteed money," George said. "But it's actually contingent on their behavior during your lifetime." What about Amanda's mother living in my house? Unauthorized occupancy by non-family members violates the trust conditions. So does changing locks without your permission, or restricting your access to your own property. I lean back against my pillow. How long have these conditions been in place? Since Derek married Amanda 5 years ago. You said you wanted to see their true character before making final decisions about inheritance. And now I have. We spent an hour reviewing options. George explained that I could trigger the trust conditions immediately, or wait to see if Derek came to his senses. What's your recommendation? Document everything. Give Derek one chance to fix this. If he chooses Amanda and her mother over his own dying mother, then you'll know exactly who he really is. That afternoon, Derek visited alone. I was ready for him. Derek, I need to ask you something important. Sure, Mom. Are you happy with the current living arrangements? He shifted uncomfortably. It's complicated. How so? Amanda thinks. She thinks you might not make it through treatment. She wants to protect me from having to make difficult decisions later. Decisions about what? About the house, the inheritance, taking care of you if you get worse. I nodded slowly. And what do you think? I think you're going to beat this cancer and come home. But I also think Amanda has a point about being practical. So you're comfortable with your wife locking me out of my own house and moving her mother into my bedroom? Derek winced. When you put it like that. How would you put it? I'd say we're planning for multiple scenarios. Including the scenario where I die and you inherit everything? Mom, that's not what this is about. Isn't it? Derek, do you know what's in my will? Amanda and I have discussed it. The house, your savings, maybe enough to pay off our mortgage and start college funds for future grandchildren. Have you seen the actual documents? No, but Amanda has it all figured out. Derek was quiet for a moment. Are you angry about the house arrangements? I'm dying of cancer, Derek. I'm angry about a lot of things. But mostly I'm sad that my son thinks it's appropriate to lock me out of my own home while I'm fighting for my life. We didn't lock you out. You changed the locks without giving me a key. What would you call that? He had no answer. Derek, I'm going to ask you to do something, and your response will tell me everything I need to know about who you've become. What? I want you to ask Amanda and her mother to leave my house. I want my key back. I want my bedroom back. And I want to come home to my own space while I finished my treatment. Mom. If you can't do that, if you choose Amanda's comfort over mine while I'm fighting cancer, then we both know where your priorities are. Derek left without answering. Guión bajo 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 guión bajo. 2 days later, Amanda called. Margaret, Derek told me about your conversation. Did they? I think you're being unreasonable. My mother has nowhere else to go, and you're rarely using the house anyway. It's my house, Amanda. Actually, Derek says it be our house on and off, so I think it's all the some saying who lives there. There it was. The truth, finally spoken out loud. Amanda, can I ask you something? What? Have you ever actually seen my will or trust documents? Pause. Derek handles all that financial stuff. So you don't know what you're inheriting. The house, your savings, whatever's left after medical bills. Enough to make our lives more comfortable. I see. And you're certain about this. Derek explained everything. Don't worry, we'll take good care of your things. After chewing up, I called George. It's time, he said. Are you sure? Amanda just told me she's taking good care of my things because Derek explained she'll be inheriting them soon. I think that's clear enough. He filed the paperwork today. The next morning, Derek received a call from George's office requesting his presence for an urgent legal matter regarding his mother's estate. Derek arrived at the lab office with Amanda, both of them dressed like they were attending a reading of my will. Please, sit down, George said. I have some documents to review with you. Is Mom? Derek started. Your mother is responding well to treatment. This meeting is about her property and trust fund. Amanda leaned forward eagerly. Derek, you've been living in your mother's house under the assumption that you would inherit it upon her death. That's right. Unfortunately, that inheritance was conditional on your behavior during her lifetime, particularly during any periods of illness or vulnerability. Derek's face changed. What do you mean, conditional? George opened the file. The trust requires that you provide appropriate care, maintain her dignity, and honor her wishes regarding her own home. We've been taking care of her. You changed the locks on her house without her permission, moved unauthorized occupants into her bedroom, and told her she might not be coming back from cancer treatment. Amanda's mouth fell open. That's not. It's all documented, including recorded phone conversations where you discussed inheriting her property while she's still alive. This can't be legal, Amanda said. It's completely legal. And as of this morning, the trust conditions have been triggered. George slid papers across the table. Derek, you are no longer a beneficiary of your mother's estate. The house will be donated to the cancer treatment center when she passes. The trust fund goes to medical research. I love it. Derek whispered. I love it. Your mother is also exercising her right to immediate possession of her property. You have 30 days to vacate. Amanda stood up abruptly. She can't do this. We've been supporting her, helping her. You've been planning her funeral while she's still fighting for her life, George replied. The lab takes a dim view of that kind of behavior. 6 weeks later, I finished my last round of chemotherapy. The cancer was in remission, and I was going home, to my house, with my key, to my bedroom. Derek had moved into an apartment across town. I called regularly, asking if there was any way to repair the damage. Derek, I said during one of these calls, do you understand why I did this? Because we hate you. Because you wrote me off. You looked at a woman with cancer and saw a death benefit instead of a mother who needed support. What can I do to fix this? You can learn to see people as human beings instead of bank accounts. You can apologize to the cancer patients at the treatment center who heard Amanda's comments about your inheritance. And you can figure out who you want to be when you grow up. And Amanda. Amanda showed me exactly who she is. What you do with that information is up to you. Derek filed for divorce 3 months later. SDD finally learned the difference between someone who loved him and someone who loved what they thought they could give them. He kept the house, of course. But he also kept a son who learned that family isn't about what you inherit. It's about what you give when someone needs you most. The guest room became Derek's room again when I visited. My bedroom stayed mine. And the locks? I gave Derek a key again. But this time, I'd earned it.